I shook the big envelope and out slid a heavy, ornate metal key. I made a mental note that as cool as the key was, and as safe as Raven Creek seemed to be, it might be high time to invest in a proper lock system for the old house. I unlocked the door, and before I could set foot inside myself, the orange cat bolted in ahead of me without a moment's hesitation. Hey! He did not seem to care that I hadn't invited him. I dropped my suitcase inside, and before letting myself get sucked into the memories of the place, I made 3 more trips back to the car to collect everything else I'd brought with me from Seattle. All the little pieces of my life had been few enough to fit in a Nissan Sentra. I wasn't sure if that was sad, or a testament to my unintentionally minimalist lifestyle. If I was a minimalist, then Aunt Eudora was a maximalist. By the time I got the last of my boxes inside and closed the front door, I needed to take a seat on the huge maple staircase in the front foyer to catch my breath. As I regretted hitting that fast food drive-thru for an extra-large coffee on my drive here, thanks to the extra anxiety and bonus need to find a restroom, I took in the familiar surroundings of my aunt's home. The walls were all painted in a soft pewter blue, with the original dark wood trim in every room. The lighter walls might have normally helped a room feel larger, but Eudora had covered almost every exposed inch with art. There were old portraits of people we weren't related to, ancient oil paintings of dogs and horses, of cunning black cats stealing food from banquet tables, and of gorgeous Renaissance women weeping in streams. There were animal bones hanging like streamers, loose bouquets of dried flowers, and framed butterflies wherever a gap in the art allowed for them. Over the fireplace, a real functional beast that faced into both the sitting room and the kitchen, was a tapestry, a copy of the famous Unicorn in Captivity piece. I could recall sitting in front of the fireplace for hours, staring up at the tapestry, imagining what might happen if someone simply opened the unicorn's gate. The cat trundled into the room and sat down in front of me, his emerald eyes glinting like little jewels in the dim interior light. "You seem pretty comfortable here, sir." Meow. I was beginning to suspect that Auntie Eudora might have found herself a new pet in her later years, and simply forgotten to mention it. Well, I'm going to have to figure out what to call you, I guess. If he was her cat, someone had clearly been taking good care of him, because it had been 6 weeks since Eudora's passing, and he looked healthy and happy. Though there were plenty of mice around the property, and he could have just been feeding himself the whole time. Discovering whether he had been hers, and therefore was now mine, would have to wait a little while. For the present moment, I needed to focus on getting my things unpacked and airing out the house a little. It had developed a musty, unwelcoming scent, having been left empty for 6 weeks, and I knew Eudora would hate that. Her house always smelled of fresh herbs, cups of hot tea, melting candle wax, and unusual incenses. Right now, it just smelled like dust. I did a quick tour of the upper floors, trying to decide where to settle myself. Eudora was the type of person who had spent very little time in her bedroom, seeing sleep as a necessary evil that kept her functioning but wasn't something she enjoyed. Because of that, she had taken one of the house's smallest bedrooms as hers. I wouldn't want to take her space anyway. The mansion had 10 bedrooms in total, though many of them had been converted into spaces that housed all her plants. The houseplants, I noted, were also all in great shape, so someone must have been looking after the place before I got here, though Eudora's lawyer, Mr. Garland, hadn't mentioned anything. After wandering for a little while, getting reacquainted with rooms I hadn't seen in a decade, I found the bedroom where my parents used to stay when we'd come to visit. It was a big room with a lovely 4-post bed and a curving bay window that faced away from the town to overlook the woods and the creek the town got its name from. I plopped down on the edge of the bed and was pleasantly surprised by how comfortable the mattress felt. The room was homey and inviting, much like the rest of the house, and it didn't feel wrong to be in it. That was all I needed for a sign from my aunt that this was the right place for me. When I'd been